G'day explorers. So today we're going to look at a geographer's tool or an explorer's tool, and that is the Alphanumeric Grid. These make up what we call an element of maps. So they're a part of maps, and that's why we use them. This is a particularly famous French battleship. Not going to tell you why, and see if you get there by the end. Comment below if you understand why we're using a battleship here. So here is your vocabulary, and I want you to pause the video here and write down this information. These are words that we are going to refer back to as we move through the lesson. So I want you to have this in the front of your brain to sort of pull back on as a little scaffold there as we move forward. So here we have an alphanumeric map grid. And we can see we have an airport, for example, but we can use the alphanumeric aspect of this grid to describe where the airport is. Or if we were curious what was in a particular square, quadrat, we could use, so quadrat's like a square in the grid, we could use the map grid, the alphanumeric map grid to give us a guide on to which part we're talking about, as opposed to getting the map out, leaning over a person, showing me exactly which one we're talking about. So instead of going, this one right here, we could say A6, and you would know exactly where we're talking about. We'll tell you how that works in a second. So we've got our map, shrink it down a little bit. So an alphanumeric map grid, we use that to identify a specific place on a grid or a map. The grid has letters aligned with each grid line from left to right. We call these the Eastings, and that's the horizontal axis. So left to right, they increase A, B, C, D, E all the way up. And sometimes, if you hit Z and you need more, you'll go, Z, AA, AB, AC, and so on. The grid has numbers, not letters, numbers aligned with each grid line from bottom to top. And those are called the Northings. And we know that because it heads from like a south to north direction, right? The Eastings head from west to east as they progress and get bigger. The coordinate is the Easting followed by the Northing. So that means a letter followed by a number, and they show at which grid coordinates you're talking about. Now, it indicates the square, not the grid itself. So not the grid corner. So for example, A, and that A could be here or it could be in the middle. A6 is where the shipwreck is, but it doesn't refer to this corner or that corner, which would be really wrong. But it refers to the square in particular. And the letter itself indicates the line on the left of the square, and the number indicates the line on the bottom, and those are your go-tos. So let's have a look at how this works. If I want to know where the shipwreck was, it is in this square here, which is A6. If I wanted to know where the mouth of small river is, I would go to F6. I'll stay on the sixth one. And if I wanted to know, if I was trying to tell someone where it was safe to swim, I would say they could go to H7. Now, that's cool. But what I could do is instead, I could be like, I need to know what is happening in G2. And I have a look, and I'm like, there's a mountain there. Nice. I want to go for a nice push bike ride from through some mountains. Can anyone tell me where that is? And they'd be like, yep, no worries. You can go into D2 or even E2. So this is our geographer's tool. It's a really useful and interesting thing. So again, if you worked out why there's a battleship, put that in the comments below. And I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, put those also in the comments below. We'll get back to you as quick as we can. Thanks for watching, and keep exploring, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.